Hello, Rich. How are you today?
Good, Bonnie. How are you?
I'm great. Great to see you. Thank you for this. My goodness, I watched it yesterday and full disclosure, I thought this is not going to be my kind of movie. I loved it. I loved it. Not only did I really enjoy the music, okay, but the message in this was the story just blew my mind. So I wanted to go back with you. When was the first time that you ever saw a Kneecap and what was it about them that kind of got the wheels going?
Yeah, I mean, look, I went to I'd moved to Belfast a couple of weeks beforehand, and I was kind of wandering down the street, and I going for a beer on my own, and I was like, I saw a sign saying Irish hip hop, and I followed the sign, and next thing I know, I was standing in a room with 800 big Kneecap fans, and I was just sort of. I suppose I was very taken by not just their stage presence, their charisma, the music itself, but more
Yeah.
than anything was the fact that there was sort of 800 or so young people who knew every word that they were rapping in Irish. And it was like, well, hang on. I didn't realize there was this young, vibrant Irish language community in
Right.
Belfast. I thought, well, hey, if I don't know this and I live here and it's a city I've been coming to for many years, then there must be millions of people who don't know that either. And I think that as a filmmaker, the minute you find a precinct that you feel has not had a camera put on it, do you know what I mean? It's not been explored. That's the foundation of a story.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Because my son who just graduated about 2 years ago from UCD. He went to, so I've been to Dublin, I've been to Ireland a couple times.
Okay.
One of my absolute favorite countries, honestly. I fell in love with it. But I got to tell you, Rich, like the times that I was there, and also with my son being there for 4 years studying, and I never counted, he never counted anybody speaking Irish. Everybody spoke English. You know what I mean? So watching this movie for me was like opened up. Like I even went to Belfast, like never heard it spoke. So why? So explain to me and also the viewers why is I don't want to give away anything, but why is it such a dying language?
Well, you're quite right. Is you can go to Belfast, you can go to Dublin, and you wouldn't hear the Irish language spoken at all. And that's not to say that people can't speak it, because
Sure.
certainly in the south of Ireland, you have to learn it at school. But it
Yeah.
has sort of like anything that you're made to learn. It tends to sort of a lot of people, the minute that they don't have to learn it at school, they go, "I'm never doing that again." And
Yeah.
I know that when I was learning French at school, I had a terrible teacher and was awful at it, and was swore off languages for life. But you know what Kneecap managed to and what I think is their cultural impact far beyond this film or the music is,
Yeah.
when I first met them, I signed up to Irish language classes the next day. And when I went to that Irish language class the first day and they said, well, why are you here, to everyone? It was the start of the course. Half of the people there were there because they were Kneecap fans. And that to me was like, well, and this was 2019. So
Yeah.
they were even then having this real world cultural impact of making people reassess their relationship with the language. And really, I can tell you, as someone who lives in Ireland, that it's the language is really having a resurgence. And the thing about a language is that it is the window to your culture, to your history,
Of
and
course.
Irish is one of the oldest languages in the world. It predates English, and people are finding that by learning the language they can reconnect with their history, and I think that's a beautiful thing. And it's exciting that we've made a film that is kind of pushing. I think a lot of films in the Irish language always look back into the past, right? And so we've made an Irish language film that is modern and gritty and raunchy, and that's a first, and that's cool. Do you know what I mean? We were always, that was one of the things that really drove us to do it, because we were like, it'd be nice to kind of do a film like that never been done
Yeah.
before.
Yeah, it is. It was really cool. All right. So you get these three guys who clearly have never acted before. They were phenomenal. Like I would never have known that these guys had not acted. I thought they did a great job in this film. But how did you gain their trust to say, hey guys, we're going to write this film and you are going to be awesome in this?
I would say, I would say there was lots of alcohol and perhaps some other things involved in the process. There's that scene in the film in the garage where they
Oh, favorite scene. Yeah.
that was quite a mild version of what occurred the first night that I met Kneecap, and part of it I think was a test to kind of go, can this boy keep up with us, and let's make sure he's also not a copper. Let's make sure he's not a peeler, right? And so we
Yeah.
yeah, look, we just got on. Like, I think that it's just one of those things. We just connected, and they could see how determined I was. Even then, I was like, "This is the film. I'm going to make this film. I don't care if we're going to make it with our iPhones, right? But we are making the film." And I think that that's one thing that's always been my approach when it comes to filmmaking: is don't talk about things like, I want to do this. I'm hoping to do this. If you're going to do it, just say you're going to do it and commit to it. And it doesn't matter how that happens. Somehow drag it over the line. And we're very lucky that Kneecap was a project that was very blessed by getting supporters on board in terms of funders very early, and people could see that there was a real different story there. Do you know what I mean? It's a film that I don't think there's another film that is quite like it, a biopic in real time, if you want. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
So I think it's a kind of a new ground. The subjects of the biopic playing themselves is, you know what I mean? So all of these things are quite unique to the film, but it was a big risk because, you say, they'd never acted before, and it could have gone horribly wrong. But the best things in life, they're either it's one of the best things in life are always the things that are either going to go brilliant or terrible, and there's no
Yeah.
right. So it's like we're just happy it went the brilliant way.
Well, you talk about support. I mean, hello, it's not too shabby to have Michael Fassbender on board. And the fact that, he played the dad, and I didn't know that he spoke Irish either. I've interviewed him many times. Like, who knew, right? I mean, what a gift to have him on board.
Well, yeah. I mean, look, we kind of went. Let's see what top tier actors there are who can speak Irish, and there's like three, right? and Michael was one of them, and because he played Bobby Sands in Hunger, Steve McQueen's film. He's a hero in the north of Ireland, and so straight away he was kind of like, it'd be great to have him, because also his character Arlo is kind of like Bobby Sands if Bobby Sands hadn't died on hunger strike. It's kind of the direction he could have gone. It's kind of that sliding doors of, so it was, I think that was something that, speaking to Michael, at the early stage before he committed to the film, was like, I can see how you can sort of carry on with Bobby Sands there, but take him in another direction. Do you know what I mean? This is kind of, what about the guy who didn't die on hunger strike? This is the guy who feels guilty about that, who carries around a certain amount of shame, and I think that that's something he really brought to the role. And look, it was fantastic for all of it. Everyone up there gave, even the catering got better when he was there.
Of course. Hello, there's standards for Michael Fassbender. Yeah, no, 100%.
It's something you probably don't know, right? This is an exclusive one. I am a Canadian.
I know that. No, I did know that, and I was going to go there. So yes, tell me a little bit about that, my friend.
We're doing Canada, yeah. So no one knows that. I don't know how you know that, but yeah,
I did. I promise you, my first note. Parents live in Canada. I'm telling you, I knew that. I was getting there. You were ahead of me.
It's not an exclusive, then, is it?
But yeah, so where in Canada? Where do they live?
I live in Vancouver, North Vancouver. I went to UBC for a little while. I went to UBC for about 2 terms before I met a Californian girl in a bar, fell in love, and ditched out of university, moved to California, and had a lovely 18 months living down here. Living off my wits. And unfortunately, that all broke down. But I managed to keep the ruse that I was still at university to my dear parents for quite a while, and then I got found out, and yeah, what can I say? I'm a naughty boy.
Well, listen, it turned out pretty well for you, I have to say. But just to wrap it up, I have one last question. So, although this movie is definitely entertaining, there's no question about it. But of course, it does, have it has the political fringe to it and everything. And I wanted to know from you, how difficult, how challenging was that to kind of keep the balance, not to hit us over the heads with the politics. I think it's still really important for everybody to know this, but still make an entertaining film.
Look, that was a big challenge because we kind of, we knew early on we wanted to deal with a lot of really weighty issues. But I think black comedy is a great sort of way to kind of channel those sort of things. And I think the sense of humor we have in the North is very dark and yeah, it's a very challenging project and all in that, in the sense you've got three protagonists. A tri-protagonist film is I remember sort of very early on going, right, I'm gonna go and watch every tri-protagonist film I can to see how they do it. And then you went, oh, there isn't any, and you go, oh, that's a bit of a bad omen. Like, is that because everyone's tried it and failed miserably? So yeah, it wasn't helped by the fact that the band were all like adamant no one could be the lead character. They were like basically counting lines, going like, "Hey, he's got more lines." I'm like, lads, it's not nursery, it's not kindergarten. You know what I mean? You're all characters. None of you have got a walk-on part. You're all got
Exactly.
relax. But yeah, look, I think we've got that balance right. One of the best bits of feedback we've had of the film is that people feel that they come out of the cinema having learned a great deal about Irish politics, but at the same time they've been really entertained. They've really enjoyed it. They've had a good laugh, and I think that ultimately, we that is the elixir, the golden where you want to be. Cinema is having a bit of an existential crisis at the moment, and I really feel that Kneecap is a film that really rewards collective viewing. It's big, it's brash, the music, the sound system, and I think that it's just that sort of film that we're really hoping is going to get people out with their mates to go and have a good night. And you walk out of that cinema, you're going to go grab yourself a beer. Do you know what I mean?
Guinness. It has to be a Guinness, of course. Right?
That's it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, listen, thank you so much for your time today, Richard. It was a pleasure to have the opportunity to talk to you. Come back to Canada so we can see you in person. And best of luck with the film. Really, really enjoyed it. It was really, really well done.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
See you
Okay.
later.
Bye-bye.